My 10-year-old daughter's hair started falling out. Her hair clung to the pillow like a silent accusation. Strands, dozens, too many for a child. "Dad," she whispered, voice thin, trembling, "my hair is falling. I'm scared." I froze. The words cut into me with surgical precision. 10 years old, too young to fear her own body, too young to fear mortality. I tried to stay calm. I tried to tell her it would be fine, but my hands shook as I gathered the strands, hiding them in my fist like evidence. At the hospital, the fluorescent lights hummed above me, unblinking, merciless. They smelled of bleach and secrets. A doctor pulled me aside, his expression clipped, professional, but his eyes betrayed hesitation. He closed the door, leaned in, whispered, "The reason her hair is falling out is your wife." The world splintered. My breath caught in my throat, and something inside me, something fragile I had been protecting for years, collapsed. I wanted to ask him to repeat it, to tell me I had misheard, but I didn't. I already knew. I collapsed in tears on the spot, not because of what I heard, but because I understood instantly this wasn't sudden. It had been happening right in front of me, and I hadn't seen it. The word wife echoed like a curse. At first, my mind resisted. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe she used a wrong shampoo. Maybe stress. Kids get sick. But the doctor's voice didn't shake when he said it. He spoke with certainty. I walked back into the ward and looked at my daughter. Her small hands gripped the blanket. Her eyes searched mine for safety, for answers. I smiled, but inside my chest there was only fire. I replayed nights when my wife came home late. Laughter over texts she never explained. The smell of perfume not her own. How quickly she shifted when I asked questions. Sharp, defensive, then suddenly soft. I had ignored it, for peace, for family, for the illusion of normal. But now my child was paying the price. Her little body absorbing the fallout of her mother's choices. I didn't speak. Silence was safer. If I asked too soon, I might scream, I might break. Instead, I watched her carefully. The smallest details became evidence. A flinch when I mentioned the doctor. A quick glance at her phone. A tension around her mouth when our daughter asked, "Mom, will my hair grow back?" She lied as easily as she breathed. I moved carefully, quietly. I pulled bank statements, cross-checked hotel charges she couldn't explain. I found late-night payments for prescriptions, medication not meant for her, not meant for me, but slipped into food. Slowly, consistently. Enough to weaken, enough to make a child sick without suspicion. Poison. I didn't let the rage show. Every morning I kissed her cheek like nothing was wrong. I smiled. I played the role she thought I was still trapped in. Meanwhile, I collected strands of my daughter's hair, sealed them in plastic bags, sent them for testing. Every night while she slept, I sat in the dark, rehearsing, breathing through fury, imagining the moment I would no longer pretend. It wasn't about punishment, it was about exposure. She needed to see herself reflected in the evidence. She needed to know I had been awake all along. The day the results arrived, I didn't open the envelope right away. I held it in my hand like a blade, heavy, final. And when I read the words, confirmation of toxins, deliberate ingestion, I felt nothing. No shock, no tears, just cold, perfect clarity. That night, dinner was silent, forks against plates, the hum of the refrigerator. I slid the report across the table, not fast, not dramatic, just calm. Her eyes flicked down. She read. Her lips parted. What is this?" "You tell me." Her face drained of color. She stammered, grasped at lies, at accidents, at coincidences. But the words tangled in her throat. She knew I knew. Our daughter sat in the other room, humming to herself, brushing what was left of her hair. Innocent, unaware that her mother's mask had just been ripped away. I watched my wife crumble. Her hands shook. She reached for me, for sympathy, for rescue. I stayed still, unmoving. For the first time, she was the one exposed. I didn't shout. I didn't curse. I leaned back, folded my arms, and asked one question. Why? The silence that followed was worse than any answer. Tears welled, excuses spilled. Another man, another life. I had been an obstacle, a nuisance, a placeholder. She wanted freedom, but freedom required removing me. And if our daughter suffered in the process, collateral damage. I nodded slowly. The pieces aligned. She expected fury. She expected chaos. Instead, I gave her something colder. I already sent the report to the police. Her face broke, completely. The tears turned frantic, her words desperate. She begged, pleaded, promised, but the walls had already closed in. She realized, too late, that she wasn't dealing with the man she had manipulated for years. She was facing the version of me she created, the one who had nothing left to lose. I watched her collapse into herself, saw the panic spread across her face like fire, and I felt nothing. I went to my daughter's room, sat beside her. She leaned against me, fragile, warm, her trust still intact, her world still repairable. Behind me, my wife sobbed, but her voice sounded distant, irrelevant, like static. I wasn't her husband anymore. I wasn't her victim. I was something colder. I kissed my daughter's forehead, whispered that she was safe. And as I turned out the light, I knew this with perfect clarity. She hadn't destroyed me. She had freed me. Sometimes the worst betrayal doesn't kill you. It carves you into something untouchable.